Latvia is actually a country which is quite important also for the Institute for Cultural Diplomacy, primarily because one of our most prominent advisory board members is the former president of Latvia, President Vika Freberga. So as a result of that, we've certainly had Latvia on our radar screen, and in particular also the issue of media, as well as the issue of social media, and especially the online developments. What's fascinating, many of you may know in Eastern Europe, there have actually been some very impressive developments when it comes to also electronic media. Estonia, we were actually discussing this morning, was I think one of the first pioneers in terms of not only online media, but also online governance. You can actually do national, federal elections in Estonia, everything online. You can pay your taxes online, etc. So it's fascinating just to see in the region the developments that are there. One person who really is at the forefront, especially of the development in particular of the online media, is Anatoly Golubov. He initially is from the Ukraine, so I think he himself is a good example of cultural diplomacy from the Ukraine, now living in Latvia, and actually responsible for the Russian edition of the newspaper Dina, or actually now Delfi.Lv, initially Dina. And I'll just say a few words about his background. So after his academics, he began more or less his career as a journalist, 1997, with a newspaper called Dina, the Russian edition, where he served as journalist. Then from 1998 until 2000, he also was the editor-in-chief of Dina Russian's Friday TV supplement, where he did everything from editing to layout to journalism. Then in January of 2000, he got the position that he currently holds, the editor-in-chief of the Russian edition of Delfi.Lv. And I think, Anatoly, if you could tell us a few words about that in your presentation, just so we can see how that also fits into the landscape of Latvian media, that would be great. In addition, since February 2007, Mr. Golubov has served as the editor-in-chief of Delfi.Ua, which is a new edition that I think just was designed actually in that period from 2007 to 2008. So again, someone who I think on the one hand is representing Latvia, as well as perhaps the region, having come from the Ukraine and also editing the Russian edition of Delfi, as well as someone really at the forefront of the online media. So I'd ask you to please join me in a very, very warm welcome for Mr. Anatoly Golubov. Thank you.
When we are saying freedom of expression, very often we mean internet as the best possible illustration how it works and how it actually can be. And internet show us basically the best and worst sides of this freedom, almost unlimited. When everyone can speak to everyone and average people's voice became very loud. And sometimes this voice leads to really big changes and even make world better or worse. And of course, mainstream electronic media, I mean internet medias or television, like this voice of people very much because they can use it somehow for their own needs. They can call it like user-generated content, excuse me, or citizen journalism, or just comments like we do. And this content actually allow media to save our own resources and sell extra unique stories to readers and watchers and build a loyal community. And at the same time, this mainstream media hates this voice of people because we cannot very often be sure that everything which people are publishing on our pages is under our control. And the user-generated content very often is an annoying watchdog and constant threat to our image. And at the end of the day, this stories which we are having from our readers. Often they can even win readers' attention. And basically, sometimes readers are reading these unprofessional stories much better than our journalistic stories. And basically, this is really annoying. But anyway, you can love it or you can hate it, but you cannot ignore it. And most of the mainstream medias use this user-generated content more and more, and often media have no choice to survive, because if you are working on very small market, like in Latvia, for example, where we have only 2 million inhabitants, which are speaking on 2 languages, so we just cannot work efficiently and be economically efficient only on our editorial resources. And basically, what we are doing in Delphi, as you can see, we are working for 12 years already. And from the very beginning, we have a mix of stories which are writing our editorial stuff and user-generated content. This is our first page in 1999, and you can see we have 93 comments here already. Yeah. Right now we have 7 portals in Latvia, Lithuania, Estonia, and Ukraine, which are operating on 4 languages, and we have about 1 million unique users per day. And you must take note that in Baltic states we have only 7 million people. Yeah. From the very beginning, we have a very simple editorial idea. Everything which is published on our portals must have possibility to have comments from readers. And these comments are going without any registration. And right now we have approximately 1 million these comments per month. So, 1 million, that's a lot. From the one side, basically, if you have 1 million comments per month, you can easily manage them if you have a relatively big team of moderators. But in our case, you cannot have this big team because, for example, if we could have 15 moderators and only 10 journalists, it will be madness. So, you know, absolutely stupid. So we have very limited resources, and what we are doing right now. You can see here one article which was published in Russian edition in Latvia 2 weeks ago, and we had 6,000 comments per 1 day. Yeah, that's a lot. And what we are doing, first of all, yes, we have technical filters, and the users just cannot publish some words which are rude, for example. Second, we have moderation, because human moderation always is a best way how to be sure that everything is in order. And then we have community help. Our readers informing us if in the comments we have something wrong, offensive, or so long, and we act, remove comments, or and I would say this is really big help for us. And finally, education. We use any possibility to repeat a message. You are not anonymous actually in internet, so you must be sure that what are you publishing is safe, is not very rude, and so on. And it is very important to say that in Latvia, a user is responsible for his comments, for example, on our site. Not we are responsible. Our responsibility are basically for editorial stuff. So it is working. You can see this small picture where you can see how many users are reading and writing article in some particular moment online on Russian edition in Latvia. So this is only our portal. Of course, if your site is very open, like ours, you need to have really good moderation team, and it is very important for your media because basically, if you can manage it, you can survive. But in any case, you must remember that basically, if you have very open user-generated content publishing system, then basically everything which is published by users can eliminate your high quality editorial content. And every single idiot in the comments can eliminate any nice discussion. And you will have a lot of idiots here because they always are more active than people who can publish something valuable. So you can look after it all the time. And for example, by the way, we have a lot of idiots writing our comments from the European Parliament, so this is not very marginal. This is, yeah. And of course, you need a lawyer. Yeah. You need it. And all these things are normally are not very Okay. But why we still need these comments? First of all, because all our readers in Latvia, Estonia, and Lithuania already knows that in Delphi you can speak and everybody will read it. And it is without registration, and you can just share your opinion, whatever you want. Of course, very often we have comments which allow us to share information with readers, and we have stories which will never be discovered without our users. And of course, we have to reposition ourselves against television and radio so long. And of course, money matters. You can see these numbers. Advertisement market in Latvia was approximately 8 million euros. And 2 million euros was actually our revenue. This is not a big, actually, money, so we cannot spend a lot of money to journalists, correspondents, and so on. So this is very economical issue. And the result is, look, this is our internet portal yesterday, I guess. You can see we have comments, citizen journalism, videos, photos, Facebook, and so on. So at the end of the day, I would say that we have approximately 8% of all page views, which is generated only with these comments. And if we add citizen journalism channel and videos and pictures, then we have approximately 15% of all our page views. Yes, and our comments are always actually open, except one situation. It was in Tallinn 5 years ago when there was riots on the streets, and basically we realized that when you have war and or riots, then very open model of publishing is not actually very good. And basically we had to be very strong, and our decision was to disable these features on our site, and you can see why. Okay. Anyway, everything works. We have really nice numbers right now. We have revenues going up. We have audience going up. The only number which is actually going down is this amount of user-generated comments. Why? Well, it's easy. Everyone right now can use 1 million of social networks and so on. And we see that the comments became old school, and basically people, yes, they are using our comments, but not very often. And one more thing, we can see that unlimited freedom is really nice, but if you're living in this unlimited read them all the time, you see that this is a little bit unsafe. So, okay. Anyway, right now we still have a huge amount of comments on our site. In Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia. In Ukraine, less, because in Ukraine we started a little bit later, and basically we are not #1 in Ukraine. But basically, anyway, in Latvia, Lithuania, and Estonia, you can see that this a way of publishing is really standard. You can add everything. I mean, videos, photos, and also texts to everything, to every article, to every picture, to every video. On our site, on our or on any other sites. So basically, right now we see that on small market where you just cannot have enough revenue because your market is very small and your people are not very rich, you have to invent any kind of economically advanced, I would say, cooperation between a media and your readers. And actually, the only way how to avoid it is to become independent. If you have oligarchs or if you have any business structures which can pay for your publishing, okay, you can just publish. But if you want to remain independent, well, you have to invent something. So what's next? I don't know, actually. Hopefully we will invent something. Right now we see that our stats is going up still. And what's next? I don't know. Hopefully you will have some interesting ideas.
Hello, just about the Estonian, when you blocked the comment section, could you just tell us more what the riot was about and what kind of comments were you getting that it got so drastical that you had to block it? Because I also use Delphi and I know that the comment section is almost not as important as the content, but more.
Well, when you can have riots on your town, you will have a lot of comments about what is going on. And you will never understand, is it reality or not? And you will have a lot of hate speech and so on. And basically, we had about several hundred of comments per minute. So it is unreal to moderate it. You just cannot. Yeah, and we realized that people are just became very emotional, very angry, and they had an idea that they are anonymous, and actually it's not. So we just wanted to help these people to be safe, for example. And we had to spread message that, okay, people, thank you very much, but we cannot just publish these comments until these riots will be ended. So, okay, later we launched it again. So,
just remind me, what were the riots about? What was the riot all about, if you could refresh my memory?
sorry?
The riots in Tallinn, in Estonia.
Yeah.
Why did it happen? What was it about? Yes.
Why? Actually, it was when Estonian state wanted to remove a monument for Soviet army, and the Russian community became very angry about it, and it was riots on the city, and one person was actually killed. So this was serious.
We have another question here.
Also concerning the riots, how did the people react when you shut it down? Like, weren't they saying...
They were very angry,
yeah.
of course, as usual.
Hello, I'm quite surprised to hear that you're actually shut down your portal. That's because Delfi, even though this company does not exist in Poland, recently you became kind of, let's say, hero is fighting for freedom of expression online, since your case was communicated by the European Court of Human Rights, Delfi against Estonia. I guess the first case before ECHR dealing with the liability for the user-generated content. So I'm thinking like whether you actually really wanted to protect your users from themselves, or you are actually aware that...
See, basically, we had a lot of reasons why we are doing it. We had also a DDoS attack from Russia, for example. But anyway, yeah, we had overload, we had a dangerous text in the comments, we have DDoS attack, we have everything. But basically, yes, it was a little bit special situation when actually, when you live in a safe European city, you never expect that some time you will have something like this on your streets. So right now we have some kind of a policy what we should do in this situation. And for example, 2 years later when we had riots in Riga, everything was worked. We just added special editorial staff who can react to these comments. We just added technological power to work, and it works. So this is like, you know.
Well, what I was thinking whether you can actually call this, let's say, a classic example of so-called chilling effect, because if you have your case before ECHR, that means that first you lost before the national courts. So my question is, do you face many trials for the user-generated content? Like, is it a big issue? Do you like, do you have many cases like that? And
the only one.
Excuse me? No, but I mean, like, do you have many trials where people argue that you should be responsible for the user-generated content, like the case that's before the European Court at the moment? And my second question is, and I'll be done, do you know, like, the statistics, how many comments are blocked within a month?
I can speak about Latvia only because I have no statistics regarding Estonia or Lithuania. Basically, in Latvia we have no specific courts about this one. Regarding how many comments are removed, I would say about 5% of everything. But you must understand that we have spam, we have advertisement, we have offensive, we have rude, hate speech, and so on. So this is, yeah.
Okay, any other question? Okay, so thank you very much,
Thank
Mr. Golubov.